University Center renovations are set to begin, and more details are being revealed about the shooting that took place at the YouTube campus in California.
Caleb Rydell will have our weather forecast, and Max Stevens has details on the NBA. Hi, I'm Todd Rose.
And I'm Jillian Wormliger. Welcome to Public Eye News. Northern Michigan University is preparing for a major renovation of the University Center. The $20 million project will begin this summer. The Barnes & Noble bookstore inside the UC has already relocated to the Peter White Lounge ahead of the construction. NMU merchandise is set up there, and the actual textbooks for rent or sale are located in West Hall. The relocation for Barnes & Noble will be for about 1 full year. The renovations are expected to be complete in August of 2019. And River Valley Bank donated $5,000 to again sponsor the Hope Starts Here Challenge, an annual challenge that raises funds and awareness for the Upper Michigan Brain Tumor Center through competitive and leisurely events geared for all ages and skill levels. The UMBTC is a collaborative effort between Northern Michigan University, UP Health System Marquette, and the Superior Health Foundation. The 2018 Hope Starts Here Challenge will be held on Saturday, May 12th. For more information or to register in advance online, visit www.hopestartshere.org.
The Marquette County Board approved a grant application and a resolution last night for aircraft rescue and firefighting. The measure, which was unanimously approved, helps fund training, including a 3-day fire safety workshop that is run annually. The workshop includes 40 hours of in-class training and 8 hours of drills. This year, the workshop will be held at the Houghton County Airport. And Senator Debbie Stabenow unveiled new legislation yesterday that would lower the cost of prescription drugs. In a press release from Stabenow, the senator says that Americans pay the highest rate in the world for prescription drugs. In a statement, Stabenow said, quote, "I continue to stand up to the drug lobbyists and special interests because it is morally wrong to keep prices for your medications so high," end quote.
Deputies from the Marinette, Wisconsin County Sheriff's Office responded to a 3-vehicle crash on U.S. Highway 141 in the town of Amberg on March 16th. Those involved in the crash were transported to Dickinson County Healthcare System in Iron Mountain. Later that same day, all of the people transported had been treated and released. That evening, Pembine Rescue Squad was paged to residents in Pembine for a female who collapsed and was unresponsive, and the woman died at the scene. Investigation revealed that 66-year-old Nancy L. Ross of Pembine was a passenger involved in the crash earlier in the day. According to Marinette County Sheriff Jerry Suave, this is the first traffic fatality in Marinette County for 2018. And the Coast Guard, in coordination with local, state, and federal partners, is working with the American Transmission Company after news struck that an electrical line cased with mineral oil might be leaking into the Straits of Mackinac yesterday afternoon. The leaking product is composed mainly of mineral oil, which is used to insulate the utility line. The cause of the leak is currently under investigation. Coast Guard responders will remain on scene and continue to coordinate with partner agencies and the American Transmission Company in response to the spill. And after the break, we'll be back with your national and international news.
This is the story of how butterflies became one of the great wonders of the world. From a dark and dangerous past, they have triumphed across the planet. Masters of deception and seduction, they're indispensable to much of life on Earth. How did these delicate but enduring heroes come to be?
Tonight at 8 after PBS NewsHour.
And welcome back. Sexual assault controversies continue to unravel at Michigan State University. 3 former Michigan State football players accused of sexually assaulting a female student during a party have pleaded guilty to lesser charges of seduction. This is part of an agreement with prosecutors. Josh King, Donnie Corley, and Demetric Vance all faced sexual assault charges relating to an incident in January 2017 at a party at an on-campus apartment. The agreement allows for no upfront jail time for all 3 of the former players. And we now have new information about the shooting on YouTube's campus in California. Police say the female shooter shot 3 people before turning the gun on herself. Daniel Nottingham has the latest from San Bruno.
Police retraced Naseem Agdam's whereabouts hours before she carried out a shooting spree at YouTube headquarters in San Bruno.
She was at the gun range early the morning of the incident.
Police say Agdam shot 3 people at lunchtime, then took her own life. YouTube remains closed today as investigators gather evidence. Forensic experts are poring over Agdam's social media profiles for clues, but they believe they may have a possible motive.
It is believed that the suspect was upset with policies and practices of YouTube.
Investigators say they know how the shooter gained access to the building.
The suspect is believed to have parked her vehicle to the rear of a neighboring business and accessed the campus via a parking garage. We just have to figure out where the area that she entered, what level of security existed at that point.
One victim was found at the building's front entrance. The other 2 managed to escape to nearby restaurants. YouTube employee Diana Arnspiger says she saw the shooter from the office's 2nd floor.
I ran to the window because the window behind me looks over the patio, and I saw her, and it was a woman, and she was firing her gun. And I just said, shoot her, and everybody started running.
The shooter's father says he warned police that she was upset with YouTube and afraid of what might happen. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, San Bruno, California.
The rapper Common and pop singer Sheila E. have the crowd dancing and bobbing their heads before the start of a march honoring Martin Luther King Jr. Common performed his song Glory, which is featured in the film Selma. He finished his performance by raising his fist and bowing his head. The performances took place at the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees headquarters in Memphis, Tennessee. King was in Memphis to support a strike by sanitation workers when he was killed in 1968. And yesterday, the U.S. announced about $50 billion worth of tariffs against Chinese-made products. Overnight, China retaliated. Now there are fears the 2 economic powers are headed for a trade war. Wei Jiajing has more details from the White House.
The markets plunged as soon as they opened amid fears the U.S. and China are heading into a trade war. China announced overnight it is putting a 25% tariff on 106 U.S.-made products, including soybeans, beef, cars, and some aircraft. It's a direct response to the tariffs the U.S. put on about 1,300 Chinese products.
The response here is also quite proportionate to the $50 billion that we announced last night.
The Trump administration pointed out the U.S. already has a $500 billion deficit with China.
When you're $500 billion down, this isn't a war you can lose if it gets to be a war.
And President Trump tweeted this morning, "We are not in a trade war with China. That war was lost many years ago by the foolish or incompetent people who represented the U.S."
The U.S. and Chinese tariffs will not take effect immediately. China says if and when it begins imposing the penalties depends on the outcome of negotiations between the 2 countries.
We want it to be resolved fairly quickly. We don't want to lose our #1 customer.
China is America's largest soybean export market.
We have to export. We can't eat anymore here in the United States. Agriculture survives based on exports, and if we lose that opportunity, it's going to be a deep problem for agriculture and rural communities.
The soybean harvest is still about 6 months away. Wei Jiajing, CBS News, the White House.
A statement from the White House today said that the U.S. military mission in Syria is coming to a rapid end. No timeline for return trip for troops has been given, even though President Donald Trump has said it is time for the troops to return to home soil. The president met yesterday with several advisors before saying he wanted to get out and bring our troops back home to reporters. Although getting troops home is the goal, a premature extraction from Syria could be the first domino to fall in a line that could possibly lead to more issues in the country. A major possibility is the country being ceded to Iran and Russia, who are both supporters of Syrian President Bashar Assad. And stay tuned because we'll be right back with Weather with Caleb and Sports with Max after this short break.
The ladies bring big changes.
More blacks in corporate America, more black television personalities.
But there's also a new scourge.
Crack.
There's an entire economy around criminalizing black men.
And video cameras put our racial divide in focus.
How did you not see what I saw?
The real difference in the way that we perceive race in the country.
Next time on Black America Since MLK.
Tonight at 9 after Nature on Public TV 13.
And welcome back. I'm Caleb Rydell, going to be taking you through your weather for today. As you can see behind me, we got that sun finally poking out today and going to melt off that snow, but it is a little bit too late for that as we are looking at some more snow coming down in the next couple days. Right now we're looking at current conditions of partly cloudy out there with a temperature of 26 degrees and winds out of the north-northwest at 21 miles per hour and a barometric pressure of 30.04 inches and rising. Tonight we're looking at the moon coming out with a partly cloudy out there with a low of 17 and winds out of the west-southwest at 13 miles per hour. And tomorrow we're looking at partly cloudy with a high of 35 and winds out of the west-northwest at 11 miles per hour. Looking across the UP, we are going to see the sun poking out, especially in the middle of the UP. We're going to start up in Sault Ste. Marie with 22 degrees, Manistique with 26, Escanaba with 29, and also in 29 in Menominee. Taking a look at the western half of the UP, we're going to see 28 in Iron Mountain. The sun is out there in full for both Houghton and Ironwood. Ironwood with 22 degrees, up in Houghton 26, and back here also 26 and partly cloudy. Let's take a look at your week ahead. On Friday, we're looking at a high of 26 with a low of 14 and some snow out there. Saturday, high of 27 with a low of 12 and some clouds. Sunday, high of 32, low of 20 and partly cloudy. Well, Max, I'm not highly anticipating this weather. No hopes for it really at this point, but I hear we're anticipating something good for the NBA playoffs.
Absolutely. It's been 2 days and I'm going through postseason basketball recession. I need it. The NBA season is coming to a close and the Eastern Conference playoffs have been all but locked down. Toronto, Boston, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Indiana, Washington, and Miami have all secured guaranteed playoff spots. The last spot in the East is still technically up for grabs between the Pistons and the Bucks, but the only way the Pistons can take the ace seed from the Bucks is if Milwaukee loses each of their last 4 games and Detroit wins every one of their last 5. In the West, however, there's still a lot of room for things to change. Only 3 games separate the 4th place Utah Jazz and the 10th place Los Angeles Clippers. Only 3 teams have playoff spots locked down, and they are Portland, Golden State, and Houston. The NBA playoffs are set to begin on Saturday, April 14th. And as we approach the end of the NBA season, the NBA draft lottery odds are falling into place. As of right now, it's the Phoenix Suns who have the best shot to land the #1 draft pick with about a 24.6% chance. They are followed by Memphis, Atlanta, and Orlando, who each have a greater than 10% chance to secure the top pick in this year's draft, likely to be DeAndre Ayton from Arizona. Detroit is sitting at about a 0.7% chance to land the #1 pick, a 2.5% chance to pick inside the top 3, and less than a 4% chance to pick inside the top 5. And remember, as part of the Blake Griffin deal, if the Pistons draft pick is outside the top 4, the Clippers get the rights to the pick. So for the Pistons, the team is going to look the same for a while due to the lack of a first-round draft pick and the salary cap space to sign any big-time free agents. And for the 3rd time in just the first week of baseball, the Detroit Tigers have had a game postponed. While yesterday's game was not postponed, it was played in incredibly poor baseball weather. It was rainy and cold, and the game ended in a 1-0 Royals victory in 2 hours and 17 minutes. Things aren't looking up for either team's schedule either, as the Tigers are about to begin a series in Chicago, followed by 4 consecutive night games in Cleveland. Tigers manager Ron Gardenhire voiced his grievances, lamenting that all of the cold weather cities are hosting series too early in the season. Royals manager Ned Yost wasn't shy either, who mentioned that consistent postponements interrupt the flow of games and make it hard for teams to get things rolling. And with that, that's all the time we have for you today. Thank you very much for joining us in this edition of Public Eye News, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.